Good afternoon, everybody. This is DJ with Touchpix Support. Is my audio coming in pretty good? Are you guys able to hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. We're about to get started. We're going to wait a couple more minutes before we get started with this webinar. I'd like to thank everybody for taking the time and joining us today. Again, my name is DJ with Touchpix Support. I've been with the support team for a little over 3 years now. And, it's been a pleasure working with Touchpix and supporting all its users. I'm based out of California. It's 6 p.m. I understand some of you may be in the East Coast, so it's a little later. We often have callers even staying up from the UK, but thanks everybody. I'm gonna go ahead and let my co-host introduce himself. I think he just jumped in. Julian, if you're there, it's all you.
Hey DJ, hi everybody. My name is Julian. I'm from the Touchpix team. I'm from Mexico and I've been with Touchpix for 1.5 years. So it's a pleasure to be here with you again because the last week we were not here, but finally we came back with an amazing topic for this week.
Yeah, thanks, Julian. So yeah, we're gonna hold off, give us a couple more minutes, maybe 2 or 3 more minutes, and then we're gonna get started. Please reserve some of the questions till the very end. We do have a lot to cover. We do want to kind of see if we could outline some of our new features using the artificial intelligence. Julian, I'll be explaining the, looks like I'll be explaining the animated overlay part. I'm waiting for my video to upload. I don't know if you can load up a test event to show some of the AI in the photo booth side from test flight. Are you able to do that?
Yeah, let me bring my device. Hold on, please.
No worries. So yeah, I think Julian will definitely highlight that key area. I think it's a cool feature to have AI. A lot of people are using AI for different types of activations, but we just kind of want to show you guys that this is what's coming out, should be out in the next release or so. We're still doing some testing. But other than that, we also wanted to highlight the animated overlays. We understand there's a lot of people that are still a little confused on how the animated overlays work. I do want to say this because there are some disclaimers. I am no graphic designer. I typically outsource some of my animated overlays. I will explain what software you need to design your own, but I will throw a plug into a simple website that we use and we recommend to our users who are not graphically inclined on the design skill to utilize this website. It actually, there's a lot of custom templates that are included in the website. The library is growing and you can customize the text, you customize some of the other fonts regarding the animated overlay part. And I will show you a demo how that works. And then if there's any questions with that, we'd be more than happy to answer. So I'm gonna let a couple other people join. I do see that they're still joining. While Julian gets his event set up, just bear with us a few more minutes. We'll also encourage the use of the chat box. If you have any questions that need an answer with a little bit of urgency, utilize the chat box. We'll be monitoring the chat box as well.
Yeah, I will be also taking note in the chat, DJ, if anybody has a question, I can answer, and if it needs, large explanation, we can interrupt a little bit or, try to let it go to the end.
Sounds good. My video is probably going to take another 3 minutes before I can download that. So we may, when we start, let's start off with some of the AI new features that
Yep.
are going to come out, and then we'll go from there. So
Yeah,
another two more minutes, and then we'll get started on this webinar again. Thanks everybody for the patience, and hopefully we can answer all your questions and give you some news with what's coming up next with Touchpix.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
I'm unable to. I'm trying to use my computer to watch the Zoom, but I'm unable to scan through my computer. Is there a link that I could use?
Sure. Let me put it in the chat. Give me 1 second, and then I'll put that link in the chat for you.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, seems like there's a lot of confusion with the start time.
Hey, DJ, I don't know if you can give me the co-host in the iPhone 360.
Oh yeah, let me, iPhone
share, please.
360.
Yeah, it's the one to share,
Okay, let me find it, and then I think I see you. Okay, co-host, there you go. Okay, I'm still admitting people in. There's a lot of people that are still adding on, so let's do that. And then I'll share the link now, as soon as I get the link. Okay, I posted that link in the chat for the person that needed that link. Yeah, it seems to be a popular topic that people want to know about. So I'm getting a lot of people just adding now. So let's give it 1 more minute and then we'll get started.
When you indicate I'm ready, so.
Okay. I'm just trying to get that video downloaded, which is halfway done, and we should be good to go. But there's more people being added, so let's just give it 1 more minute. All right, let's get started.
Okay, before we jump into the main topic that DJ is going to explain, I want to show you something new that is being added on the Touchpix app. This is the ability to have like a gallery for backgrounds in the photo booth area. Okay, so I know that most of you use the app only for the 360, but as you should know, there is a part that you can use it as a photo booth, an iPad booth. Okay, so in this case, Touchpix just include some images, and also you can add your own ones. So you can add virtual backgrounds and, you know, deliver best results for your customers. So where you can find it, you have to have the ability to do photos in your event, like in this one that you are watching on the screen. I have the photos and I have the slow-mo. Okay, so in this case, the function that you need to enable is the photos. You need to go to the menu, then go to the settings, and go to the menu number 5, that is the photo effects. Okay, in this part, there's another button that is the background gallery. So you need to tap on it, and it will ask you to download some files, and also you will have the ability to import your own images. Okay, so in this case, I'm going to tap no, because I just want the gallery is being downloaded. In this case, since I was testing, the gallery was already downloaded and it's ready to go. We don't have the ability to watch it from here. The thing here is that you need to do a session, and once you do a session, you will see the you will have the ability to select the background, okay, and remove it from the actual background and put the image that you select. Okay, you will see in the next test that I will do. I will tap in photo. Okay, hold on, because I have the motion trigger enabled, so I will disable it. I will disable the motion trigger. Okay, photos. Okay, it's a large session. Okay. Two more photos. And the last one. Okay, start processing. So then you can see that the app already did the background removal. So you can select by tapping. Okay. And Touchpix has some options that you can use and use it as a background. Okay. You can see that everything is done automatically. Okay. And the time to process is very fast. So you can add your own design also. Okay. Like this is one for Halloween. This can work for the birthday party. So this is one of the latest updates that was launched in the last version. Okay. So once you decide that it's good to go, for instance, let's say that I select this one. Just tap in next. And it gives you the ability to select multiple. Since it was 4 photos, you have the ability to select up to 4. Okay. So you can have different backgrounds for any single photo in the session. Let's say this one.
Is everybody able to see his screen? I do see some comments in the chat that they're not able to see the screen. Can people see what he's doing and the examples he's showing of the background removal?
I can see great.
Okay, perfect, perfect.
Okay, so if you don't see it, I'm gonna put it again. Let me try to change this thing. You can see in the previews, there's a lot of difference, or there's different backgrounds. You see, the four photos has different backgrounds, so you can use this one, okay? And this is a new feature that Touchpix recently add. So it's you know, if you are doing photo booth, it's a way that you can save some money because you don't need to have the background in the place. You can have it like digitally, and the app will do it for you. As I told you, we have the ability to add our own designs, our own backgrounds. So we have to enable, and we'll ask you to select your photos or the thing that you want to add. Okay, once you add it, it will be in the carousel in the bottom, so you can select it and you can apply it in your events. Okay.
Did that make sense to people? I mean, I know we're going through it a little quick, but I mean, this is a great new feature that the background gallery now gives you individual choices of putting digital backgrounds, either backgrounds that you probably got off the internet through Adobe stock or anywhere you can grab a background from, or you can pick any of the 300 designs that Touchpix will allow you to use. And now you can add a different experience to every single photo that's a little different than one another. But everything's done from your device. I just want to explain that. Everything's done from that photo effects that you see there, background gallery. It'll ask you whether or not you want to use your own. If you say yes, it's going to require you to have those designs on your camera roll or anywhere for that matter that's going to be easily accessible for you. If you hit no, it'll allow you to pick some of the Touchpix designs that is preloaded. And again, this is a new feature. Absolutely no cost to this. It's absolutely included with your subscription.
Okay.
Any
Anyone has questions about it?
Cool. Okay.
Okay, DJ, only something that I would like to explain is that in this case, it has the this one has the ability to select a different background for each photo. The other one that we have in the same photo effects that is called remove background, MQ and HQ, it will apply the same one for the 4 photos or the 3 photos, you know, but in this one, you have the ability to give each photo a different background. Okay, so it's part of the difference between this one and the previous one that we already have for a lot of time ago. So this is the main difference. Okay,
perfect. Yeah, the remove background that we have does give you the option to do the same thing. However, it applies that same background to all your photo experiences. It doesn't give you the ability like this one does to switch them up in the event that you want to offer something new. So yeah, any questions with this before we move on to the animated overlay part? All right, I see no questions. Okay, so we're going to move on to the animated overlay. What is an animated overlay, right? Animated overlay is, I'll use one of my reels here. This is an event that I did. This is a overlay that has movement, that not only the frame, but the lettering, the font, everything is animated on this. And there's a couple of ways on how to do this. Typically, when we first showed how to do this, it was based on the overlay pack that we sell in our store called overlay black or overlay color. We found that that method works. However, the processing time takes a little longer. The quality wasn't the best because it ultimately replacing whatever, if we use overlay black, it's replacing the black color. some of the design may look washed out. If you're using overlay color and choosing like a green or a blue, it would key out that specific color. So that was impacted. So now a few years back, we released Overlay Alpha, right? Overlay Alpha gives you the ability on keeping the quality of the design with its full color. The processing time is a lot faster. The design is extremely eye-catching. It'll set you apart from what everybody else is doing in the industry. You see a lot of people with artwork that is very basic and very similar. So this is something that as you're learning how to use Touchpix, and maybe you've used it now for 6 months or more, now you want to offer your clients something a little different, something a little bit more eye-catching, something more new, in the sense of not that many people can do it, right? And if executed correctly, this can gain higher booth rentals. Possibly you can target corporate clients. You can target clients that are willing to pay a little bit more money based on brand awareness if you do this right. So I will say this. I indicated earlier in the introduction that I'm not a web designer. I'm not a designer in any means. Even with my basic overlays, I get some assistance with that, so it's hard to do everything and learn everything and try to master every craft. So I would suggest that if you're like me, there's a lot of people that are very talented, but if you're like me, I would encourage people to seek out those people, those professionals that are going to enhance your business. A lot of this stuff takes a keen eye to be able to provide absolutely great quality output. And not a lot of us have that dual design skill or ability to do these types of overlays. But for those of you that are curious on how do you do these overlays, you do them with Adobe After Effects. That's the name of the program, Adobe After Effects. It's not an easy program to master. I've dabbled in it once or twice, but like I indicated, there is a huge learning curve on how to do these overlays. You can also achieve the same with Adobe Animate. It's another software made by Adobe that you can actually achieve the same type of file format. These cannot be done in Canva with high quality. You may be able to do like an overlay black or an overlay color on Canva, but it's not going to be a high quality type of overlay. So what I want to highlight in today's webinar is going to be a website that's going to assist you all on how to create this.
DJ.
Right? Yeah.
Sorry if I interrupt. I have, I know a little bit of After Effects. I do for hobby. And for those that are, techie like this, and they have After Effects and they know how to create some basic animations, I can show you what is the right settings in order to export when you are trying to do the alpha channel. Okay. So I don't know if you want me to share to tell.
Yeah, if you want to dive into that, definitely, because I do want people to learn as much as they can if they feel like they're up for this task. But I'm also going to show people, the easy way. Concentrate on your business, concentrate on expanding your brand, concentrate on getting those higher end bookings. And typically, this task is left for a professional designer that's going to enhance your brand already based on their experience. It's not a very expensive means, but go ahead and go with your route, and then I'll show them the alternative route as well.
Okay, can you give me the co-host in this device in my computer? Because
okay, let's see. I think I see you there. I think you're good to go.
Okay, let me share so you can see before we jump into the other process.
The cheat code, I call it.
Yeah, so I'm not expert in After Effects. I do basic things, and I like to learn from YouTube. But for those that like to do this or know how to work with this, once you are in After Effects, for instance, let me show you that this one has movement. Okay, you see it's kind of the same movement that DJ has in his video. Okay, so you can see that the actual checkerboard that is in the background is the part that is transparent. Okay, so if you don't see this, you can have it like this and it's white, you know. But I have it here, so I can see that it's actual transparent. So once you have your animation, one of the tips is that the animation has to be the same length than your video. So if your video will be like 20 seconds, in this case, you will have to have a video in 20 seconds length, okay? Because if the video is like 10 seconds, it will last 10 seconds and the rest of the video will not have any animation. So just be sure that, well, if you design it by yourself or you have another person that is designing for you, just take that in count, okay? That has to be the same length that your video, that your final video will have. Okay, once you have this information and you have your animation here in After Effects, you need to go to File, Export, add to the render queue. Okay, and once you are there, in the output model, you need to select here the format will be QuickTime. Okay, and you need to enable here the RGB plus alpha. The alpha channel is the transparent part of the video. And this is very important if you want to have colors like black or have a color like green, in the case that you are using a color, okay? And you want to preserve that color, because if you select in the app overlay black, that is one of the ways to add animated overlays, all that is black will be removed from the video. Okay, from the video that you are overlaying in the final result. So in this case, the alpha will give you the opportunity to have the transparent channel. Okay, and as you can see, you have here the codec that is the Apple ProRes 4444. Okay, this is very important because if you don't have this codec, your video will not be transparent. And as DJ say, we recommend the overlay alpha is the best one, is the most professional, because you will have all the colors in your video. Okay, so this is the required thing in order to have exported your video for overlay alpha. Remember the QuickTime option, and also the channel has to be RGB plus alpha. Okay, and in this case, if you don't have the Apple ProRes 4444, this is the preset. Or if you don't have it, you can go here and just select the one that you needed. That is the Apple ProRes 4444. Once you're okay with that, just tap in OK. No, this window is so big, sorry. Okay, okay. And then you can do, you know, your render as normal and export it. Once you export it, this, if you are in a Mac computer, you will have the ability to do the conversion of the file in order to have an MP4 file that is the one that is required. Okay, because the app will ask you for an MP4 file.
And just to explain a little bit on what he's saying, because I know you're getting a little technical, and I just want to be really clear with people.
Sorry about that.
You know, he's getting very technical, and I mean, I understand what he's doing because I've dabbled with it. But like I mentioned, I'm no means a professional at this. So he's just explaining that you have to create a canvas size like matching the Touchpix template that you're using. A lot of people are using the portrait template that go from 1080 to 1920 or 1070 to 1920, which is a Touchpix size, right? So that's what he has there, right? Now, he's not talking about any process about animation, but as you can see when he played it, it is animating accordingly the way he wanted to animate it. I do encourage that there's a lot of YouTube videos in the event that you want to learn how to make some of those stuff move. Very basic movements, but again, it takes time and there's going to be a lot of frustration if you're learning, right? But it takes time. If you're willing to do this and put in the time, I think anybody can achieve it. The other part to this is that he's talking about now, once you export it, the file is going to be an enormous size file in Touchpix. There's no way you can load it off to Touchpix just like that. So that file needs to be reduced and compressed with the appropriate codecs. And he's explaining that if you have a Macs, you're able to make that compression through QuickTime. It'll do it the way you like, the way Touchpix likes, and the file will be more easily available for upload. Now he's about to show you how to do it from the PC end, which Touchpix has a online converter to make that file after you export it a little bit more manageable in size. So go ahead, proceed.
Okay, let me know when you see my browser, my Chrome browser. You see it, right?
We see
Okay,
it.
so once you have your file that, as DJ mentioned, is a large file size, you need to convert it, okay? If you own a Mac, you can do it in your Mac. If you don't own a Mac, you can do it in the Touchpix website, okay? Which is the address is converter.touchpix.com. Okay, you need to log in with your account. In this case, it's taking my previous login. And you have the ability to load the file here. But there's a limitation of 600 megabytes, okay? So this is very important because if your file is bigger than this, you will not have the ability to upload it. For instance, let me show you one that I did. Is this one? No, this is not the one. Hold on. I need to remember which one. What's this? Oh my God, it's not there.
I think it's fine.
Yeah,
If
I deleted because it's a large file. Sorry about that. But
sometimes
yeah.
with your designs, they end up being a lot larger than maybe 300 megabytes, right? So
Yeah,
all you got to do is drag that file in here and it'll give it to you in a more manageable file size, maybe 5 megabytes at times. So it's really depends on the file size, but that's the process for doing it. For doing it the way that the professional designers do it, because they all use Adobe After Effects to create their animated overlays. Is there anything else you wanted to add, Julian?
no, in
Okay.
this case, as you say, you need to drop it here, select it, and you need to put your email. And once the video is done, you will receive an email so you can download the file. The file will be like 4 megabytes or 10 megabytes at max, and you can use it in the process that you will explain, DJ.
Sounds good.
That's everything on my side. So
okay, so now I'm going to show you the cheat code. Okay, there is a cheat code. So if what he said was a little confusing, because it's really a pro level way of designing, this is kind of the cheat code that we're recommending a lot of our users to utilize, right? In our group, there's a designer by the name of Matt Calvert. He's from the UK, and he does a lot of high-end animations for other customers as well. So he developed a website called Boothmotion.com. So Boothmotion.com is his website. It does things for Mirror Booth. It does things for iPad start screens. But what it also does, it does animated overlays, right? So he makes it like a quick process so you can be able to come in and select some of these. I'm going to hit browse all. So he has, as you can see, if you go to animated overlays on his website, he has a lot of themes. The library is growing. He actually sponsored some credit for this video, so we can show you guys how easy it is to use animated overlays on his platform. So it has a lot of themes, and what you can do, for example, let's go over to wedding, or yeah, let's go to wedding. If you hover over some of these overlays, it'll give you a quick preview on how that looks, right? So that's one. A lot of movement, a lot of different themes. So you can just kind of go through overlays, and before you actually buy it, you can download a sample of it to kick it over to your client to see if they approve or not. And you can still customize the text. You can customize a lot of the, you don't have to have your hashtags or website, but you can customize a lot of different things. That way the client can see it with their customization for their event, and they can kick it back to you whether they like it or not. So the easiest way I can explain this is I'm also going to share this quick video that I created for you guys, and then I'll take questions right after that. And I'll explain the process on how it works and what is needed to be done this way. So most importantly, what you're going to need to do is go to Touchpix first. You're going to go ahead and log into your Touchpix account. That's first and foremost. What you need to do is create a new event, right? A lot of people use different size templates. A lot of people use the square, the 1072 by 1072. They may use landscape. You may use portrait like we did in that case. So I'm logging into my account. And what I'm going to do here is create a new event. Now I'm going to create it real quick because I'm guessing a lot of you are longtime users now and are a little fast now in creating these events. So these are my custom settings. For now, I'm just using the rear camera and only focus on slow-mo. My timeouts, I'm leaving them all at 0, except for sharing. For sharing, I go with SMS text, download, airdropping QR code. You can customize everything else, but I'm leaving it stock because it's a Touchpix tutorial, so I'm leaving it all branded for Touchpix, right? I'm assuming that every one of you knows how to do this. I hit submit, it's going to give me a QR code. And before I scan into that event, I'm going to log into the designer. The only thing you need to do in the designer is determine which template you're going to use. In my case, I'm going to use this 1072 by 1920. I'm going to go ahead and select it as a blank template, and then I'm going to hit add. I'm going to make sure it's on the right event. I'm only going to select slow-mo. So I'm adding the blank template over to that specific event. And that's all you need to do within Touchpix, right? The next step will be, how do you get that animated overlay from the website over to Touchpix, right? So we're going to log into boothmotion.com. From boothmotion.com, we are going to go into the animated video overlay section. I'm going to go into miscellaneous, and I'm going to go and select this masquerade type template. I kind of like how that looks, right? So it's giving me a sample. As you can see, I'm going to pause it right here. His animated overlays are a cost of $26. So this is not your basic template design. Some people get them done for 5, 10, 15 bucks. The cost, I think, is reasonable because you're not going to be using these animated overlays, I think, for every event. There's going to be certain higher paying jobs that you get, maybe some corporate activations, corporate branding events that you're going to want to use these higher paying events to be able to showcase the animated overlays to bring that wow factor, correct? So it's giving you a simple list. As you can see here on the left, it says line 1, line 2, and then you're going to see a line 3. So what that means is this line here, this line 1, line 2, and line 3, you're able to customize the text, right? It's also going to give you options. Everything's optional. You don't have to fill out, if you have just 2 lines, you can just fill out 2 lines. The website hashtag thing, you don't have to fill it out. It's optional. The website, it's optional. It gives you the ability to throw that in there in the event that you want to be able to go ahead and showcase either Instagram or your website. But this is how the overlay looks. It has some movement. It starts with the mask in the middle, and it's going to go through a loop. So I'm just going to write happy birthday. I'm going to write Natalie's 15, since I do a lot of quinceañeras. And my line 3, I'm going to write today's date. Since this is a Touchpix tutorial, I'm going to go ahead and brand it with Touchpix, right? And then I'm going to hit next. It gives you a brief descriptor here to double check spelling, double check everything that you need to check to make sure that everything is good to go, right? Then what you're going to do is generate a preview, right? In some cases, you know, this is something that I want to throw as a disclaimer. When you're doing these types of animated overlays, give yourself some time. This process takes a little while, right? It's not like I have an event in a half hour and I'm going to start doing this now. If that's the, you know, if you do it that way, you're going to set yourself up for failure. Some overlays like these come as fast as 15, 20 minutes. Some of them take as long as an hour. So please, this is a process that you may want to do days in advance to make sure that you're up and going and that you have the content. So once I hit preview, it's going to go ahead and telling me I'm the next in line. It's going to wait for an available slot for this animation to be given to me as a preview. And once it's given to me as a preview, it's watermarked. And at this point is you still have the ability to edit, to make sure you make some spelling changes or make some other changes that, you know, your client wanted. But once you're finally ready to add it, you're going to go ahead and hit add to cart, right? That would be, okay, I'm ready. I'm going to go ahead and purchase. So this is my preview, right? It's watermarked, very low quality, but it gives you the idea. This is what you can send to your client, download it with the watermark, right? To make sure that you're good to go. If you're satisfied with this, and again, I can't express this enough, is make sure that the accuracy is on point. He indicates that once you buy it, it's very hard for him to be able to compensate you with the refund, you know, for something that could have been cut throughout the process. So make sure that you do your due diligence and catch it right before you hit checkout. So again, I'm going to go through the checkout process, and this is where the actual program starts making the conversion in progress. It says, you know, you get 15 minutes to make sure that it had started. As you can see right away, I'm like at 34, 35%. It does take a little while. So that's why I tell you guys, please do this in advance. That way you avoid unneeded stressors. But it does take a while for it to finally reach its 100% mark, right? Just giving you examples of some other layouts that he has. He actually gives you the ability to insert photos in certain layouts. I know a lot of people like to use photos of whoever's party it is or whoever celebration it is. I mean, that gives you a good clean layout with animated effects. Once it's completed, it says completed. You're going to want to go over to your account, right? And you're going to go over to the download section for Touchpix. You're interested in this last gray rectangle here where it says download transparent HEVC MP4 file. That is what we call the overlay alpha file in extremely high quality. There's two ways which I'm going to show you on how to load it. But if you're doing this from your computer, you can go ahead and save it onto your computer. But just understand that this is a 40 megabyte file, right? You're not going to be able to email this to yourself. So you're going to have to either dump it into a Google Drive or a Dropbox if it's synced. Or I'm going to also show you how to get it on your phone, right? Because you can actually log in from your phone and download it as well. So in this case, I'm going to show you two different methods. It's already downloaded onto my computer, and hopefully I can take you to the next step, which will be loading it onto your phone. And I haven't loaded, we're going to do that live, but I'm just showing you the process of when you download your file. It's basically selecting the HVC MP4, make sure it's downloaded, and then from there we're going to go ahead and do it the other way, as far as from your loading it from your device, because you can log into boothmotion.com from your iPhone and go from there. So that's see where we're at. I'm going to fast forward a little because I think this is the part that I didn't have a chance to edit. Okay, so I am dumping it into my computer in my Dropbox. My iPhone is connected to my Dropbox, so I'll have access to this. So it's just showing that I'm uploading the file onto my Dropbox account, right? And I'm also it's downloading. Let me keep on skipping forward. So now I'm on my phone. And what I'm doing here is this is a second option, right? Second option is you're going to log into boothmotion.com, right? Because you're going to establish an account with them. Once you log in, you're going to go to my account, orders. And if you scroll to the right, you'll see view orders. And if you scroll all the way to the bottom, you're going to see the download transparent HEVC, and it's downloading on my phone now. This is straight from my phone. So once it's downloads from your phone, you want to make sure you save it somewhere where you know how to access it. I'm going to save it to my files. As you can see, it almost threw it in my iCloud, but I just want it on my iPhone. So I renamed it something different where I know that I'm going to be able to access this. And I'm going to call it webinar. And it saved it under my files. And I'll be ready to go. It's also what I'm also doing here is I'm opening my Dropbox because I showed you guys that I dropped it into my Dropbox and now I'm saving it from my Dropbox onto my phone. Just redundancy for me is key. Never rely too much on technology. Always do things and double check things and go from there. So from this point on, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to actually load it onto your phone. So I didn't do this in the video and we're going to do this live now. I had to scan the QR code. So bear with me and I'm going to go ahead and share my phone. Okay, here we go. Meanwhile, since I'm doing this, is there any questions regarding that cheat code I just showed you guys regarding the website, boothmotion.com? So let's go with sharing my screen. All right, so now what I'm going to do is open up Touchpix. You guys can see my screen now, perfect. And I'm going to go ahead and hit activate event. Active event. It's trying to access my camera. I'm going to go ahead and scan the QR code. Recognized event. So pretty much this is a stock event. Since I just reinstalled the app, it's asking me for full permissions, which I am going to give full permissions. And first and foremost, when you delete the app or reinstall a new one, I always recommend to go here and the first menu, sub-menu item, and make sure you set it to ultra high quality, or if your internet is fast enough, I always like to remove compression because removing compression gives you the highest quality video file possible. Means that you're not compressing anything, right? So from there, I now want to load my overlay. So I scroll over to sub-menu number 6, and I want to add music because I didn't do it on the website. So I'm going to go ahead and hit add effect, and I'm going to go ahead and hit go down to where it says music, hit done. I'm going to click on this music tab right here because I'm just going to use some of the free music that Touchpix gives you. I'm going to wait for it to download those tracks real quick. I think it's still about 13 choices, and I'm going to just pick any track 11, right? Then from there, what I want to do now is hit add effect. And then I'm going to go over to overlay alpha. This is how easy it is. After you grabbed it from his website, put it on your phone, hit overlay alpha. And now I'm going to click on this overlay alpha. And then it's asking me here, where is this file located, right? I'm going to hit choose file. And if you guys recall, I saved it under webinar, right? And that's pretty much it. I'm going to go back. I'm going to go ahead and just do a brief little recording here live on the spot and show you guys, see how that looks. Let me just. So here we go. Sorry, I'm in a low light room right now, but you guys will get the picture. So it's cropping, resizing, adjusting speed, adding the boomerang, doing its process. It'll start adding the overlay alpha comes into play here where you see blending videos, applying overlay, adding audio. That is quick compared to how you load the overlay black or overlay color. Extremely quick. Another thing that I wanted to show is if you look at your gallery, you can tell that this is not a compressed version. It's 32.2 megabytes, so it's extremely large file size. For the people that are at home and just want to be able to see how that looks kind of in, I'll leave this QR code on. I'll leave it on for a couple of seconds. Overlay looks. Again, this is a great tool. I'm super blessed that this is available for people like me who can't design with anything, and I can just either find it on his website or I'll just shoot him a message if I want something super custom like the comic one that you guys saw from my Instagram feed, and he's able to do some custom work. This is probably the most affordable one. If you go through his website, the custom work I think is an added fee. So you know, but again, this is a more professional way to be able to present overlays, animated overlays within Touchpix, no matter if you're using an iPhone, if you're using a GoPro, if you're using a DSLR camera. I mean, it's going to look phenomenal if your lighting is proper, everything's on point. And again, that's not even going into having somebody or him create even your outro video that matches that theme. It's just going to boost your brand to a different level where you're going to be able to demand either the money that you're charging or more money if you're going to elevate, you know, in the 360 game. Do any of you have any questions regarding the process? Did I go too fast? Does it make sense on how easy it was to actually operate? Don't be shy. I know there was 23 of you earlier, and now there's 18 of you, but I just want to make sure that, you know, you guys fully understand how easy it has now become to get your hands on an animated overlay designed, either if you're choosing to do it yourself through the way that Julian showed you earlier, or you can just go through boothmotion.com with Matt Calvert, reach out to him or get any of his pre-made templates, and it's extremely easy and it's compatible with our software. But I do, again, I want to throw the disclaimer. This is not something that you're going to be doing a half hour before your event or even an hour. Hopefully give yourself at least 4 or 5 hours worth of time to be able to check everything, make sure everything works, and you can proceed from there. So how is storage when you, I got a question in the chat that says, how is the storage for me when you do animated overlays? So yeah, so the storage for me is really a non-issue because what I do after every event, and this is what I love about Touchpix, is that you have the ability to actually, once you close your event properly, meaning you're not deleting and reinstalling, if you go to subsection number, I think it's 12, correct. You have the ability here, if I activate either my Dropbox or Google Drive, right now it's probably going to ask me for authorization, right? So I'm going to wait for that to click on. So because you have both of these features, whether it be Google Drive or Dropbox, you're able to not only upload the original files without the overlay, but you're also able to upload the rendered files with the overlay, and you can keep those in your cloud. Therefore, when you close your event, once you close your event properly, it's always going to ask if you want to delete the files from your phone, and then you're done. Once you delete the files from your phone for that event and you made sure that you have everything you needed for that specific event, then you're good. So I got another question from Joanne that's, I don't think it's related to this, but I can go ahead and assist still. So how do you make sure your light is right? Well, I think with the light situation, I think a lot of people use different lights. So it would help to know whether if you're talking about the surrounding lights, the supporting lights that are around your platform, or you're talking about the light that you may have lighting your 360. So if you can give me a little bit more insight, we can talk about both. But I think what a lot of people do in general, whether you're using an iPhone or you're using a GoPro, a lot of people just stay with the automatic settings. I would like for people to get away from that. I do understand why they do that, because more often than not, they're going to capture a few quality shots, but you need to fine tune your lighting and you need to fine tune your settings. Doesn't matter if you have an iPhone, doesn't matter if you have a GoPro. GoPro has the option where you can go into what's called Pro Tune, and you can really adjust the white balance. You can do this with the iPhone as well, but you can really adjust the white balance, adjust it to a point where it looks great. I think a lot of people also use lighting. The lighting plays a huge role, specifically the supporting lighting. I think a lot of people, just out of watching other people do 360s, they position their lightings where they're at the same level of your camera lens, which sometimes causes blur. Specifically, if you have a device that's struggling with the autofocus, you can see that some shots will look nice and crisp, but sometimes when the light and your subjects are at the same height, your camera, some of the shots are going to look like they're slightly blurred because your camera is having difficulty focusing either on the light or your subjects. So you're causing a distress there. So what I would recommend that a lot of people do use are lights that are positioned at the highest point possible, pointing downward, right? I think if you can position your lights as high as possible, hopefully higher than your camera lens, and point them down, I think you will have a lot better quality videos to put out there. Any other questions regarding anything that we covered today? I'm hoping we didn't scare people with, some of the technicalities with After Effects, or even some of the technicalities we're using on how to upload. This is a quick process. It's an easy process. We just wanted to make sure that people know that, you do have access to these types of files, whether you design them yourself or you pay some money. You're able to really show out and, be able to represent your brand a little bit better. And it's just a different look than what everybody else is doing. If you pay attention to 360s and what people are putting out there on social media, a lot of it looks stagnant. It looks very similar. And why not looks, more professional by, having an edge and using some animated overlays. Any other questions, or is there anything else you guys want to see in this brief animated overlay webinar? I appreciate you guys taking the time and learning a little bit more about Touchpix and learning how to expand and expand your business to a more professional presentation with these options that we provide. But I also, I know that this is your time and it's valuable, and I want to be able to be able to answer any questions you guys may have. It doesn't really have to be related to animated overlays, but you know, I appreciate just you guys putting in that effort and time and being here tonight.
Hi, yes, this is Joanne. I have a question. I did a party on Saturday and they wanted the non-render files without the overlay. Is there any way that you could create an event without using an overlay and get the full picture rather than the crop picture?
So yes, so the important thing I think that I probably omitted in explaining how to store your files is if you want to be able to keep your original files as well, you need to do this before closing your event, because if you close your event, your original files are going to be erased and you're only going to be left with the rendered, right? So I would suggest that when you do an event moving forward, before actually closing your event, you can come here to sub menu number 12 and sync it up to your Google Drive. Google Drive gives you, it's free. It gives you 2 gigs of free storage, which you can later move to a thumb drive if you need to, but you don't have to pay for Google Drive. So there's no reason why you shouldn't activate a Google Drive account, sync it into your Google Drive and download both folders. Download the original and the non-rendered. That way you have them on file. So if your client is asking for originals, or maybe you want the originals because you want to be able to compile a promotion video or a reel for Instagram for later for advertisement, sometimes having the originals without, you know, a date from like 2020 is super helpful because it keeps your stuff relevant and it keeps your stuff ongoing. So I would suggest moving forward, activate your Google Drive, and always before closing the event, upload your original and rendered files to Google Drive and then close the event. Because once you close the event, the original files are gone. All you're left with are the rendered or anything that's up in the Touchpix gallery. Any other questions? No questions? Anything else you guys want to learn? We have a lot of new webinars ahead of us. We are going to be having some sales coming up. There's probably going to be a sale. We haven't finalized the amount, but there's going to be a sale on, I think it's going to be the 2nd or 3rd week of September. We will be exhibiting at the Photo Booth Expo in London. So typically when we have exhibit shows, we will have some sales with our yearly subscription. So just kind of keep an eye on that. And then the next sale after that would be Black Friday.
DJ, we have a question in the chat. It's from Allison.
Okay.
That it says, where will this be uploaded?
Yeah, so you can go ahead and look for it. Let me see if I can link my. They will be uploaded at some point on the official Touchpix YouTube channel, but I usually also put them on my channel because I do it a little quicker sometimes and there's a lot of tutorials. So I'm going to go ahead and link you to my channel. And this should be uploaded no later than tomorrow by noon. So I went ahead and put the link. I think I placed it to everyone. Yeah, the link is in the chat for people that want my channel. Like I said, we offer webinars in both English and Spanish. So this is why sometimes you get the other half of our support, which is Charles and Tia, do English every other week. We do English every other week, but Julian and I also support the Spanish Touchpix group, and we do Spanish webinars. So you can find a large variety of training videos or past webinars on my YouTube page as they all get uploaded there. I'm also going to link in the event that anybody wants to email me or has another question that may come up later. I'm going to go ahead and put my email. I'm going to go ahead and put the Boothmotion website. boothmotion.com, and the software that we use to use animated overlays. So it's Adobe After Effects and Adobe Animate is what we recommend. So yeah. So again, these webinars are designed for you all, and hopefully we're able to answer ongoing questions. But if there's any training topic specifically that you want to learn about Touchpix, definitely reach out. Before we leave, I do want to just kind of show you the difference, because I do want to show you the confetti pack that we sell in the store. That is done with overlay black. Pretty soon, if not in the near future, I think it may have already been done, just haven't been released. That overlay black or those effects are going to get transitioned over to the overlay alpha, because it's quicker on the processing time. So briefly, I'm going to go ahead and go in there. I'm going to go into settings, and I'm going to just remove the animated overlay. Right. Let's remove the overlay alpha, hit delete, and then
I'm sorry, quick.
Sure.
When it transitions, for those of us that already own the confetti pack, will it still work, or do we have to purchase it again?
No, I think we haven't fine-tuned the details, but it wouldn't make sense to sell it to you again. It should be in your Touchpix account under orders, so we have a way to verify that you purchased it. So if it's in your orders and you have your old receipt, you should be able to just compensate you for that as well.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. So overlay black. I'm going to go ahead and do overlay black, hit done, and then I'm going to click on overlay black. It's asking me where this file is. I have this file stored in my Dropbox, because I also keep Dropbox here. I'm going to go ahead and go to browse. If you look up there, this is my Dropbox folder. It's auto-populating. I think I have it way at the bottom under Touchpix files. If I'm not mistaken. Oh, let's say this confetti. There we go. This is the confetti. I did not name these, so these might look a little different based on the fact that, oh, here they are. Okay, so I can see the layout here. As you can see the layout, some of them are square, some of them have more of a landscape look and the portrait look. So I'm looking for the portrait. So I'm going to go ahead and load the portrait. And it's already loading it for my Dropbox. This is why I like using like the cloud service, because for once it's free and I have everything saved in the event that I need it on the go. So it's already loaded. I'm going to hit go back, and I'm just going to do a quick video, but you're going to see how much longer it takes the old way, right? So I'm just showing. And this is the pack that is for sale in our Touchpix store. This is kind of the first we released when we started using animated overlays. So this is overlay black, and as you can see, it's taking a little longer for the processing. This is why we recommend overlay alpha, because it's just yeah, so that was the overlay alpha. You know, that confetti that I used, it wasn't spectacular. I know there's I think there was over 150 different confetti designs in there, but I think that was when we first started using animated overlays, and it really worked for us at that time. But now that overlay alpha's out, for me, there's no going back. But other than that, somebody said, will there be a full tutorial on making animated overlays from scratch? Yeah, that's extremely hard for us to do, specifically me, because I can't do it. I just don't have the skills. I don't know if Julian can do something quickly in the future, but keep an eye out on our channel, and I think I don't know if Julian would be up to showing something basic, but I think there's just so much to cover because we don't know what type of movement you'd want on the font or letters or the actual frame. So it'd have to be something somewhat on the basic side, but I'm not gonna say no. I think it's a possibility. I can't do it myself because I don't have the graphic design skills to do it. But if Julian is on the call and is willing to show in the future something from scratch, I'm sure he can make it happen. Any other questions regarding Touchpix before we log off for the night?
Yes, for the photo booth part, will they make a photo template the same size as the boomerang gift and all that? I like to keep everything the same size, but when you do the photo, it's just that one size that's different.
Yeah, so in this event, you're able to do that. The only thing is that if you're going to be using a template for everything, that the animated overlays will work for the slow motion side. It'll probably also work. I'm not sure if it'll work for video. I haven't really tried the video, but there's no way it can work for like photo, right? Because the animated overlay file is an MP4 file. The photo file needs to be a PNG file. So you're going to have to talk to the designer about something that looks somewhat similar to that. I'm sure if you reach out to Mr. Calvert at Boothmotion, you guys will be able to work something out. But I do understand because I also have some activations where they want a little bit more than just the 360. They want something more in theme, like pictures and
Right.
stuff like that. So
Yeah.
yeah, just reach out to them, and I'm sure he can work something out or have a conversation with you about it. But I do understand what you're asking, except that these file sizes are completely different, so it wouldn't work for your photo unless you reach out to them and explain what your needs are.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Any other questions? You guys are good. You guys feel pretty confident. Great. Okay. Well, if no other questions, I guess we'll end this webinar. I appreciate everybody taking the time. This will be uploaded extremely fast, I guess, on my end. I'll see if I can upload it tonight at some point. Just keep an eye out for that. If you guys have any questions, my email, Julian's email is also up in the chat. Feel free to reach out to us. We'll be reaching out in the Touchpix Facebook group. In the event that you guys want a webinar designed on something else, we do have webinars already uploaded for scan pics, print pics, photo booth setup. We've done the new designer. We're trying to cover every angle with Touchpix. So today's focus was animated overlays. We did want to show you that background removal with the artificial intelligence feature. I think that was great to start off with, and we want people to start utilizing Touchpix for more than just 360s, because this is a full-blown photo booth app. And if you're already paying a subscription, it only makes sense for you to use it for your photo booth with a DSLR or just an iPad. You're given those options for a reason. So definitely
Quick,
just learn a little bit more about it.
quick question.
Sure.
Do you have a setting that the camera should be on for photo booth? I use an iPad.
Yeah, so I mean the settings, like I try to take a peek at our photo booth webinar.
Okay.
If you're just using an iPad, I mean, it really depends on which iPad you're using. Not all iPads are the same, by the way. Some of the newer
Right.
models have the better front camera. So those are going to render better shots. But at the end of the day, it all comes down to lighting and white balance. If you can
Okay.
adjust your lighting and your white balance appropriately, you will get a lot of great looking shots. So take a peek into our photo booth setup webinar, and we do have some settings. A lot of people use continuous focus. A lot of people like to, set their focus a little differently. But the white balance, everything else that comes with some of those settings, lighting specifically, will render the better quality shots.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Okay, everybody, have a great night. You guys have our contact number. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Thank you so much.